Americans love scenery. We want to see it all, from one coast to the next, Mount Rushmore down to the Everglades. So hop into a Chevy Malibu and take the scenic route. It's the car you knew America could build. There's a place where people count on friendships they can trace back generations, where they can count on the same stool at the coffee shop waiting for them every morning. This place is called Glen Ellen, and you can find it in every bottle of Glen Ellen wine. This is craft brewed Herman Joseph's, the smoothest, easiest drinking specialty beer in the entire solar system. And I believe you'll find drinkable in the dictionary right after don't order a beer you can't drink. Zoingo! Boingo! The freestyle pogo with more boing, more bounce. Bounce further, bounce higher with Zoingo Boingo. To see what makes Arrowhead Mountain Spring water different from those other waters, you have to go back to the source. And with Arrowhead, that means going back a little farther and longer than most. Between security challenged and security strengthened, there's one important word: how. And it is the how that makes all the difference to our nation and our world. Lockheed Martin. We never forget who we're working for. What makes Kraft Singles so good? 2 out of every 3 kids don't get the recommended amount of calcium. But with Kraft Singles, they get a good source of calcium and the taste they love. Kraft Singles. Magic every single time. Throw boring overboard with a new real meal from Long John Silver's. A meal worthy of a plate, just $4.99. Only at Long John Silver's. We may not all be geniuses, but we can all do something smart. Introducing the Hyundai 199 Sonata Lease. It's a smart deal on a really smart car.
I was married for 16 years in the era of the cell phone, which means my 16 years is actually longer than my parents' 40. That's right. In 16 years, I had more contact with my ex-wife than my parents did in 40 years. Okay, my father used to leave for work at 6:30 in the morning and come home at 8:30 at night. And during the day, him and my mother had absolutely no contact at all. None. Okay? That's what a relationship used to be. The kids could have been dead. And he wouldn't have found that shit out till he got home.
Good morning. It's Saturday, Rules Saturday, November the 15th, and this is The True Conservative. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. So today, after the Serenity Prayer and the patriotic song of the day, we will have no free lunch, motivation, meditation, and how to manipulate everyone. All that and more when I get back. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I should not change, the courage to change the things I should, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you. And now, No Free Lunch, 250 Economic Truths by David Bahnsen.
Economists love to talk about incentives, but the bottom line is that people hate being controlled or manipulated, even when done through voluntary institutions. This is one of the most important tensions in capitalism. Tyler Cowen. The miracle of markets is that they align incentives with human action. As markets exceed normal exploitation of incentives and transcend into control or manipulation territory, human action inherently resists. In this tension, a valuable service is provided to society, the resistance of control juxtaposed with the benefit of incentives.
And that was There's No Free Lunch by David Bahnsen. Back in a minute. Thank you. So as for diversity, I was just thinking about this, and I was thinking about it the other day, the goals of diversity. We all think that the whole goal of diversity is supposed to be about getting blacks and Hispanics into positions of power in our society. But more than that, it is about getting conservatives to voluntarily associate with liberals. Because you see, as far as the left is concerned, you're not black if you're not liberal. You're not Hispanic if you're not liberal. You're not a woman if you're not liberal. You're not gay. You're not lesbian if you're not liberal. Okay? So when they say diversity, we got to have diversity. And it sounds good, doesn't it? It sure does. It's very seductive. The idea is that you as an individual will surround yourself with liberals. And as a matter of, and what then happens is you get brainwashed. Those people, as you associate with liberals, they're going to talk to you in liberal ways about liberal things, about liberal goals, about liberal methods. And if you surround yourself with people like that, and that's all you hear all day, every day, then you become a rhino or a sino, a conservative in name only. You start thinking like a liberal, and you start acting like a liberal, and you start voting like a liberal. That's one of the reasons why you want to walk away from it. You want to walk away from this, the liberals in your life. Even if it means a little bit less diversity in your life. Walk away from the liberals. And you also notice that this always goes one way. The left is never required to be diverse. Nobody asks the NAACP or the Hispanic, what do they call the La Raza, the race. Nobody asks them to be diverse, to put non-Hispanics on their board of directors. Nobody asks the NAACP to be diverse. Nobody asks liberals to be diverse. Nobody says, hey, where's your diversity? It only goes one way. That's another way you know that you're being scammed, that they don't really mean diversity. What they mean is domination. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now a little bit more on the issue of the shutdown and how the dynamics of the shutdowns and the idea that it's pointless. The Democrats don't like the idea of declaring victory, not only because then they have to face the prospect of suffering the consequences of their actions, but because declaring victory then makes shutdowns look appealing, particularly to Republicans. Shutdowns are a winner if you have Republicans that are willing to, that have the intestinal fortitude to see it through. For Republicans, it's a winner for them. because the Republicans are typically the ones that stand athwart history and yell, stop. Now, if the Democrats can, let's say in a process of negotiation, get the Republicans to agree not to declare victory over the Democrats, then the whole shutdown process, again, looks and feels like it has no point to it. If there's no victory, then why did we bother to have this fight? Why bother? And we do this over and over and over and over again. And the more people think that the shutdowns have no point to them, the more pressure is going to be brought to bear on whom? Not the Democrats, but the Republicans. Because the Republicans are the ones that are in the habit of saying, stop. Now, again, the solution to this is to put the Democrats in that position. Make them the ones that say no or stop. And the way you do that is by making counter proposals. Okay, so Chuck Schumer comes out and says, look, all we want is Obamacare. Republicans could very easily turn that around on him and say, look, we understand that people are suffering with high prices. We sympathize. And so we have a better idea. Tax cuts. Now, who's in the position of saying no? The Democrats. Think about it. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, some motivation.
You can write everything down if you want to. Be brave enough to write every one of your goals down. But I'm going to tell you something. Life's going to hit you in your mouth, and you got to do me a huge favor. Your why has to be greater than that knocked out.
Are you willing to get your teeth kicked out for your dream? That's why many are called, but few are chosen. Because everybody won't get the beat down. Everybody's not willing to face rejection. Everybody will not talk to 4 people and visualize 5,000. Everybody won't take the controversy. Everybody won't take the heat. Everybody won't hold themselves to a higher standard.
As soon as you write your dream down, somebody about to bust you in your mouth. Whatever it is that thing you say you want to do, they come and ask you. The reason why you do what you do is more critical than what you do. Because if your reasoning is weak, you're not going to get it done. Why? Because life is going to beat you upside your head. Life will strip you to the core. Once your balls start tripping, you about to start crying. Once life hits you with a punch or two, you ready to quit. Phenomenally skilled is cute, but it is a phenomenal will that says every time I get knocked down, I will get back up and I will succeed. I will not surrender. But if you're weak, you will be broke. And I'm not here because I'm the best. I'm here because they tried to break me and they couldn't.
Think about your community. Think about your kids. Think about the obstacles and the problems, the so-called problems in your community. Think about them. Osborne said, in life, you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. We can't judge according to appearances. We must look at the poverty and the despair and the pain and the stress. And in the midst of that, we see prosperity. We see health. We see peace. We see possibility.
I'm telling you to dream your dream because I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. I want you, just like when the weather is changing, you can feel it. I want you to be able to feel when you're getting closer to it and closer to it. If you are still alive, there's still room for growth. There's still room for improvement. You can still get bigger. You can still get better. You can still be bolder. There's still room to grow and be better.
Get out of your head and into your greatness. You can't stroll to your goals. You keep being casual, you will end up a casualty. Death is not the greatest tragedy of our time. The greatest tragedy is what dies inside of us while we're still alive. Not trusting your gift is sinful because by God, it was put in you. I don't know what you've been through, but trust your heart. It will defend you.
You need to use your tongue to validate your gift and look yourself in the mirror and encourage yourself and say, I'm still gifted. I've been through some pain, but I'm still gifted. I've buried some loved ones, but I'm still gifted. I've had some setbacks, but I'm still gifted. Despite the circumstance, you can win. Despite the giants, you can win. Despite the adversity, you can win. Despite the obstacles, you can win. Despite the situation, you can win. Despite how much money you got in your bank, you can win. You can pull it off.
Why do you do what you do? Why is that important, Les? Because when the storms of life come, and they're going to come, when life pounces on you, and that's going to happen, when it catches you on the blind side and drop you to your knees, and that's going to happen, when people don't come through for you and don't keep their words and don't support you or actively work against you, and that's going to happen, when you want to give up, and that's going to happen, your reasons will be your bridge over troubled waters. You got to know why you're out here, because you're going to get your butt kicked. But you gotta know why you're there, because your reasons, when life drops you to your knees, your reasons will help you get back up. What are the reasons? Write down why you're here. Write down 5 compelling reasons of why you're gonna keep your commitment to change your life. Keep your commitment never to go back to the life that you once lived. Keep your commitment to creating wealth for yourself, to taking care of your children, to be more responsible. Keep your commitment to live a life of contribution, to keep your commitment to be a conqueror, and to act like it, and to have authority and dominion of everything in your life. What are those reasons? If life knocked you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. Your reasons will help you to get back up again.
What's that thing that's going to pump you up and get you over that hill? What's going to pump you up and get you over that mountain? What's going to pump you up and get you past that disease? What's going to pump you up and get you past bankruptcy? What's going to pump you up and get you past that crazy credit score you got? What's going to pump you up and get you to the other doggone side?
I'm talking about hope. You got to be able to see it when it cannot be seen. You got to see it in your mind's eye. You have to see it happening. You have to see yourself writing the book before the book is finished. You got to see it. You have to see yourself graduating, even though the teachers are telling you that it's not going to happen. Even though you got the letter saying you're getting kicked out of school, that you're on academic probation, that you're dismissed. You have to believe in the unseen, because if you can't believe in it, you will never manifest it. But when you believe in it, you demand the universe to assist you in what you're doing. And if you can see it before everybody else can see it, then it's going to eventually come to you.
Download this.
And that was a little bit of motivation. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now some time to meditate.
And that was a little bit of meditation. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now, how to manipulate everyone.
Linguistic emotional suggestion. As I have said, one of the best ways to shut off the conscious mind is simply to create emotion. You can do this by simple word choice. Emotional words suggest an evaluation. That's what our emotions tell us, how to judge things. It is not a coincidence that the word sentence, meaning a meaningful string of words, is phonetically identical, sounds the same, obviously, to a legal punishment. Again, a sentence is literally that which we use to pronounce judgment on experience. You might like to think of cold words and warm words. We use cold words when presenting cold, hard facts. We use warm words to suggest an emotional evaluation of something. We use words to indicate not only our attitude to some experience, but to suggest how another should feel about it also, especially if we are perceived as an authority figure. So words are used to supply facts and suggest attitudes. Attitudes belong to an individual or a gang/group. In a cult, everyone has the same attitude and seeks to enforce it on others, cultists or not. We suggest emotional approval or disapproval with the words we use. We can use a word that suggests contempt or heroism. I want you to start to notice the difference between the factual and emotional meaning of words. In some contexts, the arts for example, words are deliberately used to trigger emotional responses. Emotionally laden words are better than dry neutral ones, in a poem or play. Unless a character is dull and emotionless. Poetry is in fact a form of hypnotic communication, as is a play. You can give a character a name that suggests positive or negative emotion. Words can be used that imply our preference, or that imply that you should share a particular preference. Fiction writers of all kinds use words that suggest a strikingly emotional meaning. Scientific papers use a language that suggests impartiality. You can in fact cloak propaganda within a scientific-sounding statement in order to conceal your manipulative intent. Many people confuse communication style over the proof of content within an argument. Unemotional languaging in fact removes all the juice from life. Sounds flat and robotic, almost boring. Boredom is wonderfully hypnotic. We have an innate preference for vivid, colorful, passionate language. And therein lies a potential danger. Now, when we need to ascertain a fact or facts in a decision-making process, the last thing we need to reach a correct evaluation is emotional language. Emotional words stop us being objective. At times of crisis, the worst thing to do is panic. It is exactly in a crisis that responsible people should remain calm and clear-headed. Their language should be calm too. Scientific language spent hundreds of years escaping its alchemical, occult roots, replacing objective terminology for almost mystic, magical incantations. Scientists have in fact invented new words divorced of any old meanings in order to create cold meanings that do not arouse old emotional triggers. Overly emotional processing of information, you can't even call it thinking, in politics and religion has proven to be catastrophic down through the ages. People use emotion in arguments to sway the minds of the masses. Your intent will decide which words you use for your speech. We can convey our attitudes through body language and facial expressions in person. In text, we can only use precise word usage. Take the words killed, assassinated, murdered, butchered. They all have subtly different emotional meanings suggested by their use. Words are used to suggest we be sympathetic to one gang and hostile to another. Words can have almost the same, if not the same dictionary meaning, but have completely opposite emotional meanings. For example, orator, demagogue, extremism in an opponent is a firm belief in an ally. A stubborn person may also be independent-minded. A bigot is a man of faith. You could go on endlessly. Words can be rallied as an army is and sent into war. Bullets are always preceded by words. Cults don't want you to consider facts. Facts kill cults. Facts are one of the cures for cults. That is why cults burn books. Most reasonable people believe that we should hold a set of beliefs because we consider them to be true. That is, based on facts. A cult or cultist does the opposite, demanding a set of beliefs be accepted and followed because you have been told they are true. Because the majority of people have been conned, or that they have been conned for a very long time, is not a recommendation to continue living in a delusional state. There are quite enough mad people in the world already. Emotional language alone can shut a course of action down, no matter what its actual merits. We can use words to invoke fear, repugnance, create metaphors suggestive of change, good or bad, approval and disapproval. Respectful, civilized discussions do not use such underhand tools. When we approve or disapprove of something, we are often only revealing our own prejudices. But people with power often believe that those prejudices should be shared by large swaths of other people. Word use that suggests moral or immoral behavior is often only used to distort truth by arousing emotion. Words can be used to arouse hatred and link it to an opponent. Words can be used to suggest guilt before a rational attempt to gather facts has even been attempted. With any communication, ask yourself, is the communicator attempting to excite strong emotions? If so, be careful. Don't jump to hasty decisions. You might regret later. Are words being used to alter your perceptions of reality? If they are, emotional words are perfectly fine in everyday conversation. They make talk more interesting and entertaining. But is being entertained a positive virtue whilst making great decisions of state? Is a politician right to make you laugh just before he raises your taxes? When we are 100% sure we are right, and suggest a course of action that we think best, it is normal to use emotional language to promote our viewpoint. Emotional chicanery is used to stir the reluctant to go off to war, to join a revolution, etc. Politicians, a fine example of cult leaders, see emotions and the means to stir them as merely useful. Ethics be damned. When faced with decisions, especially during crises that define the course of nations and peoples, and the rights of individuals, the use of emotional language over rational thought is always to be condemned. If a democracy is to be more than just a word, rational decisions based on facts must supersede delusional political religious fairy tales. Natural immunity from overly emotional languaging can be achieved by decoding the facts presupposed by the speech, proposal, etc. in question, and deciding, by using your critical mind, whether the facts suggested are in fact true, or lies applied with a large dose of emotional blackmail. The process is simple. Note the facts suggested. First, dissociate yourself from the emotional baggage. Secondly, research the so-called evidence, if it even exists, yourself to discover if what is claimed to be true is in fact true. Ask yourself cui bono, who benefits? Are there any counter-arguments? Do they in fact have validity? Do you need a second, third, or fourth opinion? If consensus is suggested to exist on a given topic, find out if this is in fact true, or merely a tool to create a conformative, social pressure. An independent mind is in fact never swayed by any imagined social pressures. Social pressure with regards to conformity does exist, but it is also an imaginary process whereby you are supposed to imagine a grim bunch of people you don't know, shaking their heads and wagging imagined fingers at you. This is pure hypnosis. Coercive hypnosis captures and leads the imagination. The purpose of emotional hypnotic languaging is to create conviction in the heart of the controlled. Study emotional language in TV news reports, in newspapers, in books, on discussion programs, political debates, etc. If you listen to someone talking and start to feel moved, you feel sad, upset, scared, excited, aroused, angered, etc. Take heed. There is a strong chance you are being emotionally manipulated, especially so when the communication implies or states that you are a bad person if you do not agree. As an exercise which I take from Straight and Crooked Thinking by psychologist Robert H. Tholes, take an emotional piece of writing. Note or underline all the emotive trigger words. Now, replace all of the emotive words with neutral, less hyperbolistic words. In other words, squeeze out the emotion, the biased attitude of the controller. Once this is done, note what facts you are left with. Is there any evidence for the presuppositions within the communication? Are emotional words mere window dressings? Or are the premises and conclusions based entirely on the skilled use of emotional rhetoric to arouse an emotional response? If a given speaker habitually uses rhetoric in this way, it suggests they are emotionally imbalanced, if not mentally ill, unable to think calmly, rationally, and clearly themselves. History is filled with such madmen and women. Many people, including many political leaders, have become habitually conditioned into using overly emotional information processing styles. It's not thinking, in much of their interactions with people they wish to influence. This is a warning sign of an unhinged mind. Emotions that swamp the mind stop objective thinking. This was why when I had depressed, anxious clients, I used hypnosis to calm them down first, so that they could think calmly and reflect on reality as it actually is. In the worst of situations, there is a way out. When you are calm, your natural instincts and intuitions will kick in to help and guide you. Taboo words are examples of very powerful emotional words, so powerful that they are magical. Saying them will have very bad consequences. The words suggest that the thing that is forbidden is somehow unlocked by the word, that an evil is invoked, that the referent, thing referred to, of the word is often somehow superior to the mere speaker. The unscrupulous are everywhere. Be careful out there, folks. Note, the word depression, in a clinical sense, is a much maligned one. Feeling sad, a bit pissed off, etc., is not what being clinically depressed entails. It is in fact a sort of super worried state that cannot be escaped from. One that upsets sleeping, causes exhaustion, and negative thinking loops. Please see my book Hypnotically Annihilating Anxiety if you wish to pursue this topic in more depth.
And that was the section called Linguistic Emotional Suggestion from the book How to Manipulate Everyone by the Rogue Hypnotist. Back in a minute. Thank you. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative in the United States today, bidding adios to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there, and reminding you that socialism is antisocial.